I come from the other side of the bridge. But before we talk about that spot, I'd like you to do me a favor. I would like you to shut your eyes. And I would like you to think about your home. I would like you to think about all the things in your home that you love. I would like you to see the pictures on the wall that have meaning to you. The books in your bookshelves that you love. Your easy chair. The lamp by the easy chair. The kitchen that you cook in. Your garden. And then I want you to think about having to leave your home. To be able to have to walk away from it and leave all those things behind. Oh, you want to take the things that you need the best, the things that you love the best with you. You could put them, no, you can't put them in your car because there is no car. And you can't put them on your horse because there is no horse and there is no wagon. Whatever you carry with you, you will be carrying on your back. Now, you won't have to go far. You'll only have to go about 65 miles. And you're going to have to bring your own food because there are no restaurants along the way. And you're going to have to bring your own bedding because there's no place to sleep. And these are the things that I thought about when my Aunt Minnie told me that I come from the other side of the bridge. It seems that in 1898, my grandfather, Avram Bizbaltsev, was a trolley car conductor in the Ukraine. A trolley car in those days was a team of horses and a wagon. And he was in a cafe. And the Ukraine at that time was like a ping pong ball. It was bounced back and forth between the two military units that were fighting over it constantly. The Prussians on one side and the Cossacks on the other side. One day it was the Cossacks, the next day it was the Prussians. It was a place of incredible violence. And one day, my grandfather was in a cafe, and Cossack soldiers came in, and they took all the young men out of that cafe, and they took them to a room where there were other young men, and they locked the door, and they stood guard until the commandant came in. And they were talking, and they were nervous, and they didn't know what was going on, and the commandant said, "Quiet! You are not being arrested. You are about to do something for your country. You are going to be conscripted into the army. Don't worry, it's only a 25-year term that you will face." 25 years was like a death sentence. My grandfather was standing in the back of the room. There was a window. He opened the window. He jumped out. It was a second story. And he ran home to his wife and his 3 children. He said, "I've got to leave. They'll be coming for me." He told her the story. "They'll be coming for me. I've got to go." She had something to tell him too. She was about to tell him that she just discovered that she was pregnant and that she was due to have another baby. But she didn't want to tell him because she didn't want it to keep him from going where he had to go. She knew he had to leave. She said, "Where will you go?" He said, "I will go to America." She said, "America, such a beautiful name." He said, "Yes, it means freedom and safety." He said, "I will send for you I will work hard, and I will send for you. And then he left. Not much is known about his journey. Two things are known. At Ellis Island, they changed his name from Bisbalcev to Finkelstein. He couldn't spell Bisbalcev, and he couldn't spell Finkelstein either, but they changed it anyway. He made his way to Philadelphia. He built a push cart, and a year and a half later, he saved $75, and he sent it to his wife. And he said, bring the children. And now she had to look around her house. And she had to decide what she could take and how she was going to do it. Yes, there was one thing of value. An old samovar, a brass samovar. She would take that. And she would take the baby, of course, who was 8 months old, and she would take her 3 kids. And she would have a huge pack on her back. She would carry that. And her 8-year-old son, Jaime, he could drive the suitcase, and they would pack the suitcase. And her 6-year-old son, he would carry a bag also. And Minnie, her 5-year-old daughter, she would have to carry something too. And so she left. And 7 days later, she found herself on a road, marching with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other people trying to leave the country, trying to leave the violence that was occurring there. And a man came up next to her as they walked to the border. The border was a bridge over a ravine. And the man came up and he said, you're struggling. I can see you're struggling. Let me help you. She said, no, it's all right. He said, let me help you. Let me at least carry the child. I can carry the child for you. So she said, okay. And she gave him the baby. And they walked, and they were approaching the border, which was the bridge. And suddenly, the border was closed off. And the Cossack soldiers started milling through the crowd. They were looking for somebody. And the man saw them coming, and he got scared. And he ran to the edge of the ravine, and they saw him running, and he looked down the ravine, and he started running down the ravine, and the soldiers ran after her, and as he ran down the ravine, they fired their guns at him, and he disappeared into the woods. And now my grandmother was faced with a choice. A Sophie's choice, if you will. Should she wait there and pray that the man came back with her child? Or should she protect the rest of her family and go on? She waited, and finally when the border opened, she decided that she would cross. And she crossed over the bridge, tears falling down her face. And as she crossed, just as she reached the other side, she saw sitting by the side of the road her baby. My father. She picked him up, and she just went on. What did you, Aunt Minnie, are you kidding? How come I never heard that story before? My aunt said, well, there were so many things that happened on that journey. So many things that happened. My God. What a struggle. Must have been so hard. She said it was. It was terribly hard. But it was worth it.